Alright, welcome to another 5-minute tutorial. And this week we're going to talk about groups with Enterprise and ArcGIS Online. Now, what a group is a group is a collection of maps and apps related to a specific area of interest. It can relate to things like cats or dogs. It can be about emergency management. It can be about whatever you want. The site doesn't judge. So, you get it? I hope you do. Alright, so let's say you want to use groups. Let's go on. It starts by setting up your environment. So we're going to do from arcgis.gis, import GIS, and then we're going to connect to organization. We're going to access what's called a group manager. And the ArcGIS API for Python has a very common pattern, and we'll see this as we go along. We have a group manager for managing groups, there's a user manager for managing users, there's a license manager for managing licenses, and a server manager for managing ArcGIS servers, etc. So we can go ahead and we can search for groups in one line of code, and we can create them in almost one line of code. So we're going to do gis.groups.search, and let's say we want to make a group about OpenStreetMap Iceland data. And we can see that none exists on my organization. So let's go ahead and create that group. For readability, I'm going to expand it out over multiple lines, but this is actually you can do this in one line of code. I'm going to provide a title. I'm going to let people within my organization be able to join it, provide some tags, and give it a thumbnail. And notice I'm pulling this from Wikimedia and the Iceland flag. And we have our new group within our organization called OSM Iceland Data. We can then go ahead and we can add content you own to a group. So let's say I own a whole bunch of feature services. So I can search through my own content. I can search through all content within my organization by doing gscontent.search and search that has the name Iceland in it. And I'm going to say if the type is feature service, I'm going to share it with my group. So I'm just going to pass in group.id within a list, and it's going to add that all in there. Now, what about information that I don't own but share publicly? So I'm going to go through and I can do the same exact thing for this data, and I can share it with a group that's publicly owned. Let's take a look at that. Here I'm going to specify the bounding box around Iceland, and I'm going to use the advanced search this time. So I'm going to do gscontent.search, provide Iceland and the type web maps in this case, and I want to do the bounding box that I had before. So not only am I going to filter out results by type keyword and type of item, I'm going to filter it out by bounding box. I'm then going to take these publicly shared items and share them to my group. So I can see that my group now has 101 items, the one that I actually added for that I own, and then 100 public items. And here's an example of one of the web maps that I shared. Now let's say I want to go ahead and add users. Since I'm an administrator of my site, I can go through and I can force people to be part of my group about Iceland open data. So I'm going to go through and search for all the users within my organization by doing gis.users.search. And I'm going to say if username is not me, give me that user. And then in one line of code, I'm going to push all those users into my group. And we can see that we get back this response that says not added, and it's empty list. If there were a user that for some reason that couldn't be added to this group, it would show up here in this array or list. We can remove all users or some users the same way. So I can take my group and do group.getMembers, which will return back a list of all members, grab the users, and then pass it in to remove users. This will return back similar syntax that we had before called not removed. If a user couldn't be removed, such as the group owner, it would say I couldn't remove from the group. We can go ahead and delete groups as well. In one line of code, you just do group.delete. This will delete the group, but it won't affect any content within your organization, so you can feel free to create and delete groups as you want, and rest assured that your content will never be deleted with the associated group. I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial about groups. If you have any questions, please post it to the GitHub site under issues or in the comments below, and have a good evening.